Good evening, viewers, and welcome to The Price of Fame. My name is Lunga Tshuka, and I'll be your host. So, The Price of Fame is a podcast that focuses on the real stories about the journey to success, from the moment of realizations on one's gifts, purpose, or gift. And in these conversations, we try to aim on the hardships, the sacrifices, and the mindsets that our guests have to overcome to achieve their current position in their career. And these are their stories. Tonight's guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wrote a song about 5 minutes ago. To do my intro, you know I gotta have a fresh intro every time. So I wrote about a song. It's got like a few lines there. So I have to keep the page because I just wrote it 5 minutes ago. It's a very original song, so I hope you guys like it. I came up with everything. Are you right? You ready, guys? So the name of the song is Beauty Guru. Let's go. Here's a story about a beauty guru. And I hope you're ready. Former Mrs. South Africa. Miss Universe runner-up. Co-owner of a cosmetic company. Model, MC, socialite. Nominated as the most stylish woman in the U Magazine Awards several times. Over 55 magazine covers. International and local model endorsements. Published a book called The Model and Pageant Industry. Cindy Nell's beauty guru. Cindy Nell's beauty guru. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the screen, Cindy Nell. Woo! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You are a seriously talented individual, Lunga.
Thank you so much, Cindy. How are you doing tonight?
I'm well, thank you. All the better for hearing that amazing song about myself.
No, like I said, I'm telling all my guests, if you ever need me, I'm your guy. You know, if you need an introduction, anywhere you go, even if it's a family function, you're going in there, I'm your guy. I walk in at first, I'll do the thing, and then you come afterwards. That's you like the
Do you live in Joburg? You obviously live in Joburg.
Oh, I actually live in Cape Town, Mitchell's Plain.
Oh, wow. Okay, well that's awesome. So you accessible to me. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I shall be dragging you along to family functions.
Who's this guy? No, he's the intro guy. You know, he does intros. But now, who's this guy? The intro guy.
That takes entourage to a whole new level. I've got my own intro guy.
Yeah. Oh man, you sound amazing and you're looking amazing and you're just bringing that amazing energy. I'm so looking forward to getting to know you. And firstly, thank you so much for agreeing to be a guest on The Price of Fame tonight. I know a lot of my viewers are super excited to get to know you. And they're like, oh my God, so many people have been DMing me. I'm not going to mention any names, but they're like, oh, I'm super excited to see tonight's episode. So thank you for being here. It's truly a pleasure to have you here tonight.
Oh, thank you, Lunga. It's a pleasure to be on the show with you. I really like your vibe.
Cool. So tell me, it's been, I don't know, we're halfway through the year. We've got a couple of months left, you know, and 2021 has been a lot different than 2020, yes. But I mean, still with all of the challenges and everything like that. But I think from the shock, we've kind of progressed and we started to make things possible for ourselves. So for you, Cindy, now, how has 2021 been treating you so far?
Well, Lunga, I mean, it's been the same for all of us. You know, we don't live in a bubble. COVID, riots, looting, business challenges, health issues, homeschooling. That's a whole nother level of challenge. And yeah, but you know, it hasn't been a great year. Let's face it.
Yeah.
But I say to my son also, you only have two choices in life. You can wake up every morning, or you can answer this question that it's been terrible and you don't know what to do, or you can decide, which I have, that I'm stronger because of this year. I am changed because of this year. I am better. I'm an improved version of myself because of this year. It has forced change for me. I have learned a lot this year. And I think I'll be forever different because of this year. in only good ways. So it's been a very challenging year, and everyone has different problems, but I think your problems are all relative, to your life and to your set of circumstance and to your surroundings. So it's been a challenging year, but I genuinely believe that it has been a year that has changed me forever, and I'll be stronger and better for it forever.
Yeah, that's so cool because that's the only thing that we can do when we hit rock bottom, or we hit challenges. You can only transform because it's like the old version of you had to die, because it wasn't working anymore. You need to now think of ways, you need to evolve now, and you need to literally, like you say, you need to become a different person. So it
Exactly.
really
And you also need to ask some hard questions and have a good long look at yourself, your life, your
true.
your choices, your value system, what is important to you. Because one thing COVID has taught us is that everything that we thought was important, money, success, those things, that the daily, the glamour of life, when all of that is removed, what is important to you? Who are you really? What is your
Absolutely.
value system? And so it's forced us to kind of look at all of that. And now we're all going to become hippies.
Well, it's good for me. No, it's true what you're saying because like everything was stripped away from you. Everything external was stripped away from you, your job, your livelihood, everything that you do externally to like kind of feed yourself and way to kind of like validate how you feel about this time right now. And all of that was stripped away, and you only had family, and you only had yourself, and you only had those dreams that you've been sitting on for a while, and you'd be like, one day I'm gonna act on this. So like for me, it's given me like the space to act on a lot of things that I wanted to do. But because I was so busy up and down, I always told myself, yeah, when I have time, when I have time. So when I was disabled from all of these, from the hustle, I kind of like had to look at the things, and like you said, I got a new version of myself. I even grew my hair. I was just to be bald before this, but I even grew my hair.
I
So
Googled you, and I actually saw you were bald. And when I saw you now, I was like, wow, cool hair, dude.
Yeah. Well, thanks to COVID.
It's the new version of you.
Yeah. It was one of the things that I was like, I'm going to change certain things about myself in terms of just leveling up. And not to say that I was unhappy with who I was before, it's just that I could do better. And now the time has given me that space to think and replan and just reintroduce myself to myself first, and just be like, okay.
Oh my word! What a powerful thing to say. Reintroduce myself to myself. I'm going to steal that line if you don't mind, because that is exactly what I have experienced this year. I've had to reintroduce myself to myself, and it's funny. I think maybe of this year as a bit of a pause in our lives, because so many of us are so busy missioning ahead and achieving things, and we have all these goals, and it's a little bit of a meditation, which just you so often hear that meditation is as important for growth as the constantly chasing and moving forward. And this year has kind of forced us into a bit of a silent mode where we just have to. This is not the year of being successful. This is not the year of flourishing. This is the year of reflecting. This is the year of pausing, regrouping, and analyzing all of that. And I genuinely think that when we do then get going again, we'll be faster than we were before, stronger than we were before, wiser than we were before.
Absolutely.
I mean, the alternative is we can sit here and we can moan about it for 10 years. But the reality is there's only two choices. We can see it that way, or we can say it's been a terrible waste of time, which it couldn't possibly have been.
Yeah. And just with people in my neighborhood, I've seen some of my friends, transform because they used to be like just work for a job or all this. And when the jobs are cut, the one dude is like, I actually have a passion for cooking, and now he's selling food, and he's doing very successful. And he doesn't want to work for a boss again. He's like, I'm gonna actually put all my effort and my energies to my work now because I'm earning a way lot more, and I'm working on my time, and I'm doing what I love. So it's given a lot of us also that kind of perspective, like you said, like just wake up, like act on your dreams, become something, stop relying on other people or stop relying on certain things, and you have to just reinvent yourself, like you said. But yeah.
Absolutely. And also that this year has made us realize that you can only rely on yourself. Nobody's going to tell you to do things. Nobody's going to wake you up in the morning and say, get going. You have to do it by yourself, because I mean, that really is what it takes. That's what it takes to overcome difficult times, or be successful, or stay mentally healthy, is that you need to be able to rely on yourself. You need to be able to have the discipline to say that I'm going to overcome this. I'm going to put a routine in place for myself to flourish. So I think what this year sums up what you've just said is that this 2020 has been a year of perspective.
Yeah. And it's so true, because like if you actually look at the people that you're around, you get the two kind of people who's like complaining and all of that, and I want the old ways back, you know. You got the person that reinvented themselves and just moving forward now. And so it's that kind of two people that we deal with. But yeah, interesting, very, very interesting. Interesting times, I must say.
Interesting times.
Yeah.
I agree with
Cindy, let's take it back to the beginning, where you were a little beautiful girl and you didn't know exactly what you want to do. And I don't know, did you always, the life that you're living now, always one of your dreams, or did you have a completely different passion when you were a little girl? Tell us about the beginning, and how did the life that you're living now come to you as a spark?
Lunga, you know what? I have to tell you, when I was a little girl, for all intents and purposes, I was a very average little Joe Soap. Like, there was literally nothing special about me. I grew up in a home where I had a hardworking 8 to 5 mom and dad who looked after us. We had, you know, I cannot say that I was ever particularly poor, but, you know, my lunchbox every day was a white bread and mixed jam sandwich, and that was that. There was no cum laude kind of magic genius that happened when I was 8. Everyone realized I was incredibly beautiful and magically intelligent. I was just very average little girl. And I think I just very early on, you know, I mean, I went to school. I actually think one of the things that really drove me in life was the fact that I was in many, many different schools. So my father was in the military and he kept getting transferred a lot. So I was basically in a new school like every couple of years. And then he had many different jobs where I was in new schools all the time. And I never really made any friends. You don't really make friends when you're in so many different schools all the time. You don't really get to play in the A team because you're not there for long enough. You're there for a year and a half, 2 years, and then you're gone. You're in different schools, so they're all teaching in different ways. So you don't really get to be that kind of 7 straight A student. And I think what gave me drive is that I wanted to be better. Somehow in my head, I decided that I'm going to shoot the lights out one day. I want to be very successful. I want to be wealthy. I want to be famous. Well, that's only something I decided later on. And I just want to have this incredible life that I kind of visualized. And I have to say, I don't think that there was anything unique and special about me. I was just a very driven little girl who had braces at some point, which felt like forever. I wasn't particularly beautiful, I have to say. And what I do remember is I remember that I would always make my parents' friends, listen to me sing or perform on the coffee table in the dining room or draw pictures. So from a very young age, I clearly liked to perform and be on stage and I kind of imagined myself on television. But that's who I was. And I have to say, for a very big part of my life, I was just a very average young girl, I have to say. Even when I started doing pageants, I didn't always win. In fact, I barely won in the beginning, but I kept going. I think that's really what the thing was with me, is I just wouldn't give up. I just wouldn't give up.
That's so cool, man, because like it's so strange to hear like your background, where you come from, you know, and just like what kind of person you are, you know, because of moving around all the time. You didn't actually make friends. And also like to think about modeling. I mean, not having friends and not having that kind of thing, that can kind of like impact on your confidence, right? And just how you want to speak or just be with people, because now you're feeling like, what's the point? And modeling is like such a complete opposite thing, you know. It's something that you need to have confidence with, you know. Even like shooting so high for everything that you shoot for, you know, like how did you flip, or how did you build on your confidence? I know you said like performing at home was always part of your thing, you know, and that kind of like gave you the confidence to perform in front of your parents and close people around. But how did you build the confidence to go into modeling? I mean, like you said
Well,
that you didn't see yourself as a pretty girl. You said you were this girl with braces and you're just like, yeah, I'm just here, you know. But you actually were persistent and you fought and you're like, I'm actually deserve to be here, to the point where the world actually like saw, no, she actually deserves to be here. She is Miss South Africa. So like, how did you
well, I
build your
think
confidence?
my parents gave me a lot of confidence. I mean, they always said to me, "You are special. You're amazing. You have so much potential," and they kept saying that to me, and I believed it. When you're a child, you believe it. You say you are special, and that kind of becomes the narrative in your head of who you are. My mom always used to say to me, "I've got special angels. God is protecting me. I am strong. I'm stronger than the other girls."
Yeah,
And that was kind of the narrative. That was what I genuinely believed, that I am stronger, I am special, I am exceptionally talented, um, I am capable of handling any situation. I'm capable of walking into a new school with my head up, and even though I don't
yeah,
know anyone, I can make it. And I think what your parents say to you is got a very big influence on you. And if your parents don't say that to you, then you need to say that to yourself. Because if you keep repeating that, that affirmation in your life, you
yeah.
actually eventually become that.
True.
And I mean, I started doing, I kind of stumbled upon modeling, to be honest. So I was 12 years old, and I was in, where was I? In Burgersfort Primary School, which I fondly remember. That was actually a school that I was in for quite a while and really shaped me as a person. I think it was like 500 kids in the school, and we used to walk across the railway station and go to the school, and we sort of lived a little bit up at the railway station area. And I don't know how it came about, but one of my friends were going to enter this competition called Miss Valentine. So somehow I decided I'm also going to go and enter Miss Valentine, which at the time was held in the Leidenburg
Yeah,
Spur in Leidenburg. So off we went. Mom bought me an outfit at Edgar's, a white skirt and a white top, and I went and entered this pageant. And I think the prize was a dinner for you and your family at the Spur. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go do this hair. And look, I mean, I clearly wasn't as ugly as I thought I was at the time, because, I mean, I look at the picture now and I go, wow, I wasn't too bad looking, actually. And I had this amazing long hair, and I had this big, beautiful, bright smile, before your smile is inhibited and you just think that your entire smile is perfect. So I entered for this a little Miss Valentine competition at the Spur, and I won. And that night we had dinner at the Spur, and it was an amazing time. And one of the prizes that I won was a modeling course at a local modeling school. And well, I was very excited to go. It was like a little modeling school next to the church. And I went, and that was pretty much the beginning of the end. I was hooked after that. I was hooked on modeling school and finishing school, and I was hooked on the fact that you could win stuff. You could win money, you could win like meal
yeah,
vouchers, you could win courses. I was thinking, this is amazing. I get to perform on stage, I get to wear beautiful dresses, I get to be like the center of attention. Plus, if I
yeah,
win, I get to make money. This sounds like the best business ever to me. I'm in.
yeah,
So, and I think around about that age, at about 12, I also started probably coming out of my ugly duckling phase. And that's kind of how and in the modeling school, I really learned how to speak and how to act in front of people, and elocution and finishing, and performing, which is how which was a very big help for me later in life when I wanted to become a TV presenter. So I think that was a big turning point for me. But we're talking here about small towns, Lunga. It's not like I went to New York and I hit the big time. So that was the beginning of the road. And
yeah,
it was a long and very, very disciplined road to get to the point where I now have 65. They've actually increased from your last info. 65 magazine covers and multiple modeling contracts in my life. But that hasn't been something that's just kind of fallen in my lap. That's something that I've really had to work for.
Yeah.
And I think that little inside, that inside knowing that you can do it is something that you need to tell yourself. Nobody else is going to tell you that. In fact, quite opposite. The higher you move up, the more people are going to tell you that are going to criticize you and say that you can't do it.
Yeah. No, that's so true. And like, I mean, we take it back to what you said about your parents, it's very, very important that our parents are always encouraging us, because when you're very, very young, they're the people that you want to impress, and if they keep telling you, keep doing this, or you're the best or whatever, you really believe it and you become it. So that's a jewel that I'll take when I'm a parent. And also another thing that you mentioned earlier on, that homeschooling has been a bit of a challenge for you, homeschooling is something that I wanted to do, I was looking forward to. I told my partner, look, when we have our kids, we're going to do homeschooling. We're going to try this thing, You being having to experience homeschooling, can you please let me know, what was your experience like? Is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Or do you think, yeah, it is good, but just you need to have patience, or what kind of thing? What was your experience like with homeschooling?
Well, in the beginning, it was a challenge. And I mean, if you look at this podcast that we're having now, it seems so natural that I'm in my home office and you're in your studio and we're having this podcast. Ordinarily, we'd be sitting across the table from each other and it wouldn't be possible. There'd be a whole lot of traveling involved. And when I just came onto the podcast, I was thinking, oh my gosh, the link isn't working. I'm so stressed. But the homeschooling is a little bit the same. So in the beginning, you think, how does this all work? I feel like I need a PhD to figure out this, school stuff. And then after a while, you think, wow, this is actually really very doable. And I'm thinking maybe I should take my kids out of school for a year and homeschool and travel the world. Like that's how fast the progression happens. So you go from, oh my word, what is even happening? This is not possible. This is not sustainable. To a year later, you're going, this homeschooling stuff is actually very doable. In fact, I'm thinking my kids could probably finish two grades in 1 year, because they can work at their own pace. So for you as a future parent, I want to say it's very doable. That's another thing I think COVID has changed significantly. You can work at your own pace. This is also a time that people have realized that they can actually be remote. They can be learning remote. They can be traveling. You could be backpacking the world and studying for a year. It's no longer either or. It used to be, I'm going to go backpacking after school and then I'm going to come back and study. You can now do both at the same time. So that that opens up a whole new world of possibilities for kids in school and also for parents, because parents are very much bound by homeschooling. And look, I'm quite positive that homeschooling will become a very big part of the future of school. So, but let me tell you, in the beginning, it is something to learn. Once you've got the hang of it, it's not that bad.
That's cool. I actually like the fact that you said that now you can actually travel with your kids, and do more. Because like my next thing is, what I was thinking is that I know well, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I know with females, especially in the industry that you're in, a lot of things kind of change when you become a mother. It's like, you can't be you can't be the face of this anymore because you're a mother, or you can't enter this anymore because you're a mother now. Do you have any of those challenges that came your way where you no longer can be part of certain things because you became a mother?
Well, I think that is something that used to be like that. But nowadays, I mean, even if I look at my makeup brands, Catrice, Caribbean Tan, Essence, it doesn't matter what age the brands are. We are actually looking now for models that are up to 50 years old. We are no longer just looking for the proverbial. We are looking for models and brand ambassadors and presenters that are mothers, that are experienced, that are married, that are older, that are not perfect. And I think that is actually, I mean, for me, I have done more modeling contracts and earned more money doing modeling than after I had my children than I ever have before. So
Yeah.
certainly once you have children, you feel a bit overwhelmed, and you feel like the life's never going to be the same again. How do I do this? What do you feed this thing? How does it all work? You know, but once you come out of that, you actually realize what an empowered place you're in. You
Yeah.
are you are smarter, you are more sussed, you are on it. Women are genuinely getting better looking these days and so are men, because they know how to look after themselves better. We are living healthier lives. We are more aware of mental awareness, which I think is a very big
Yeah.
impact on how you look and feel. We are more physically aware. So no, I don't think at all that being a mother should be. I can't enter this. I can't be. I can't be. Study this. I can't achieve this. I think. I mean, we are now able to live nearly twice as long as we did
Yeah.
100 years ago, 50 years ago even. So no. In fact, I'm turning 40 this year. And honestly, my body is in better condition than it's been in the last 20 years. Well, maybe 15. But it's taken a while after children, I have to say. But also, I just needed to pull myself together. It wasn't actually my body. It was just my mind. And I feel like I'm looking better, I'm feeling better, and I've got a lot of goals. I mean, there's things that when I turned 30, I thought I'm too old to study an MBA, and I'm also having a baby now. Now that I'm turning 40, I'm thinking maybe I'll do that MBA. Maybe I'll take a year sabbatical. Maybe I'll get a six-pack. Maybe I'll get an eight-pack. Maybe I'll start my own TV show. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah. I've been on multiple different TV shows. I'm not sure if that's exactly what I want to do again. But my point is, if I feel like I want to do it at 50, then I will.
Yes.
So, and I genuinely think that's what's happening now. It's not an age thing. It's not a mom thing. It's not a dad thing. It's not a, but I've already done that before in my career. You can revisit that.
Yeah.
So no, it's an amazing time in the world. I tell you, it's an amazing time in the world. You could basically just do whatever you want and be whoever you want to be, if you can get your mind to that place. The thing about success, though, and I tell this to my children, is obviously it's a well-balanced, well-rounded approach to what is success? Is success money? Because I don't think that success is money. It can certainly, there's an element of it that that brings financial freedom, and financial freedom brings choices. And you do eventually achieve that. And if you look at the Maslow hierarchy of needs, when you achieve certain things, then you want to start achieving different things. But whatever you think success is, well, however that looks for you, if you want to be the world's greatest surfer, or greatest meditation coach, or wealthiest business person, or most famous model or television presenter, the reality is, whatever you want to be, if you need to live and breathe that. If you're lying at night on your Instagram, scrolling through your feed, looking at who's putting on a new outfit, then you're on the wrong path. Because
Yeah.
if you want to really lean into something, then that's what you need to live and breathe. You need to be living and breathing that. You need to be waking up earlier. You need to be, if you want to become aware, if you want to heighten your awareness, you need to be meditating. So
True.
I find that we waste a lot of our time. We waste a lot of our time doing and watching things that don't enlighten and enrich your life, your mind. Like this podcast, for example, is something that enriches your life. Whereas if you're
Absolutely.
just watching a sitcom, well, that's cool. Watch a sitcom and laugh and relax a little bit. But it's not going to achieve anything for you. Not even enlightenment. Sorry for sitcoms. I hope I don't offend anyone. So yeah, no, I don't think it's an age thing. I don't think it's a mom thing. I don't think it's a dad thing. I don't think it's I haven't made it and I'm 50 thing. I think you can actually start over at any age, and you can actually shoot the lights out at any age, at any point in your life. But you need
I
to
like.
make that switch in your head.
Yeah, no, I like that because like you're saying, you need to make it and you attract. And also, like, there's so many distractions out there. Things like you said, things that don't feed you, things that don't feed your well-being, your mental health, and all of those things. And we're so distracted and consumed by so many things, and we don't balance it out. Like you're saying, we don't take some time to meditate or do other things or take things that's actually good for you and learn from. It's always like scrolling and everything like that. So, for example, I have this habit, and I know it's bad. So I pick up my phone in the mornings, and the phone is the last thing I look at before I go to bed. But now what I've done is, seeing that I can't kick that habit, I'm gonna rather look at things that feed me. So I'll rather read or listen to an audiobook instead in the morning, of something that of a book that I'm interested in the mornings and the evenings. So I'd rather feed myself with something that is going to actually empower me instead of just like doing up feeds, because once I can get so lost and go up a feed and what am I doing? You just want to throw the phone away. Get so consumed, so lost and be like, I just spent an hour on
Lunga,
nothing.
it takes extreme discipline. I would say 90% of people, including myself sometimes, we wake up in the morning, we pick up our cell phone, and we start scrolling. It takes extreme discipline to do whatever it is that you want to do and be successful at it, even if that means you wake up in the morning and the very first thing you do is you put on a meditation, you put on a podcast, you put on music. You put on music while you brush your teeth and you dance around listening to your 80s song, and because it's feeding your soul. Or you put your cell phone in a box downstairs where you charge it in the kitchen or wherever that is, and you put a good old-fashioned 199 Rand alarm clock next to your bed, and you wake up in the morning, you write your diary. It takes extreme discipline. And that's the reality. Whether you want to be more peaceful, whether you want to beat depression, whether you want to I always say also, on the problem with social media is that we consume. What we should be doing is creating. So every time you're on your social media, ask yourself, am I creating or am I consuming? Because if you're not a creator, then you are a consumer. And then you are the consumer for the people that are creating. So best to be creating.
Yeah. And Cindy, like you mentioned, like with the industry, so many things have changed now. Those restrictions and limitations that used to be there are being kicked out of the door, and we're looking at a new thing now. Like you're saying, with women and with men, looking at new stuff. It's not anymore the perfect box, that's gonna be featured or get the job. Now it's any person, no matter what shape, size, color, or whatever, and you're just embracing all kinds of women. What do you feel? Because I also believe that you do a lot of women empowerment work as well, So what do you feel is missing from your industry with all the changes that you've seen? You'd be like, you know what? I like what things are going in, and I like the direction that we're going in now. But I think what will really make women excel, or what will really build women's confidence, or what will open the door for more kind of women, XYZ is missing. Well, not XYZ as in alcohol. But like, what do you feel like is missing? What are the elements that you think that you would add to the industry just to make it a lot more better than what it is now?
What is XYZ? Is it alcohol? Did you say that?
I meant to say ABC, but then I don't know why XYZ came in my head.
I didn't know there was an alcohol called XYZ. Is there one?
Oh no. That's like the lingo, when people say you're invited to my braai, bring your own XYZ, then they mean like bring your own alcohol.
Okay, so you're definitely in your 20s, and I'm definitely in my late 30s, because I don't know this.
I'm actually 34.
Okay, you're looking yeah, good.
But
he says showing his beard full side angle with like a little bit of a salt and pepper going on there.
So yeah, but yeah, what do you think? What would you add to like just spice it up a bit, or just to like
You know what we need to do? We all need to go on this mass dedication to unfiltered content. Like we need to stop, and I'm a big sinner in this department. We need to stop this ideal of having this perfect timeline with a perfect photo, and we have to go for a photo shoot to create content. We need to make this big shift and I mean, it's scary. Like even for me, who is a brand, and when you're a brand and you kind of have this, idea of what your brand should be and look like, and you're portraying a certain image, but what we need is we need a mass movement towards real, authentic, raw content. No filters, no perfect poses, going on live. Like if you want to be a makeup influencer, cool, then put your phone by your mirror and do your makeup right there like you did in the morning with your dirty bottle of foundation. Never mind, nobody's bottle of foundation is perfectly wiped and like got twinklies on it when you do it in the morning. So, or if you want to be a, it doesn't have to be so perfect. And I think that is the shift that's required. We all need to, and do you know what's funny, Lunga? People are so hungry for real content. People are so hungry for raw, authentic, genuine conversations. People want to see what your lounge looks like for realsers, not your perfect little studio that you made up in the corner there. People want to see what is your life like, because that is inspirational, and that opens the door to say, hey, I can also do this. I can also have this life. I can also be a successful business owner. I can be an entrepreneur. Your friend who's now cooking, he needs to be showing, this is how I'm cooking, this is how I'm doing things. Now I'm doing a delivery and his girlfriend is taping, recording him. We need to be, and also, there's a little bit of a thing that I think also that there's a big generation, and I'm not sure if this is the millennials, because I mean, kind of you and I are sort of like cusp millennial type, or if it's Generation Z or XYZ or whatever. There's a definite generation that feels that there's an entitlement, like I deserve better, I should be getting more. And I can tell you this, you should be getting bugger all. You get what you work for. There's no handouts in this life, and even if there is, it's going to be short-lived. And I think that the shift needs to come from this. I've just recently lost 8.5 kilos at my age, and I've done nothing. Like, I haven't gone on some miracle cucumber diet or anything. I've started exercising every day. I've cut my calories. I've stopped eating animal products. I'm medicated. So the reason I'm telling you this is because at any age, at any income bracket, from any community, we need to stop making excuses and say, but I don't have a private chef. I don't have a personal trainer. I don't come from money. My circumstances were different. That shift needs to happen, where you just go, you know what, I'm just going to, whatever it is, whatever's the problem, I'm going to look at the positive side and I'm going to put that out there. And for me, for the real change to happen with you are capable of doing anything, is that we all need to be more real about it. We actually need to show the behind the scenes of these perfect lives that we portray, because that gives permission to other people to also try. And then we can make a lot more other successful and happy and content and people.
That's so true, because we are real, raw, authentic people. So why are we trying to be perfect, when we're performing and we're doing this for other real, raw and authentic people? It's like we're becoming something that we are not truly to impress people who are actually just like us, who actually go through what we go through, but we feel like, no, you have to be perfect, you have to put on this. And I think maybe back in the day,
people will love you more for it. People will love you more for it.
Back in the day, I think things were a lot more strict, but like you're saying now, people are more open to, and things are more open to, like you're saying, even with the limitations of being kicked out now, we're looking for more authentic women. We're looking for more authentic women who looks like mother, not some young model and we dress her up like a mother. No, get a woman who is actually a mother and looks like a mother and just dress her up.
We just did a shoot for Caribbean Tan where we purposefully chose real women, including myself, with all different body shapes, some with rolls, some with big breasts, some with small, some skinny, some not perfect. I don't have a perfect waist. I have quite a boyish figure. And we didn't Photoshop any of the images. That's what we want. We want our models to have rolls, and we want them to have skinny legs and maybe big breasts, and it's because that's what real women look like.
Absolutely.
And that's what real women should be happy to celebrate. I actually think there's a much bigger movement toward this kind of thing than people realize. It's happening very fast now.
Yeah.
So listen, anyone could be a model. Anyone can be a television presenter. If you make it your mission to learn how to be good at this particular one thing, you will be, and you will succeed. The problem is, and this is where I was coming in with the entitlement, is a lot of people think, oh, well, you know what, I've worked really hard at this for a year, but I haven't made it. I'm like, newsflash, honey, you work hard at it for a year and you haven't made it. Charlize Theron was there for 16 years before she got the Oscar. It wasn't the bank incident. It was the slog and the grind. And I mean, for me, I've had a 25-year career and I've only just hit the pinnacle of it 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously I started doing Miss South Africa, which was, about 50 years ago, in 2002. So, yeah, also a long time ago. And it takes a long time. And even when you hit the pinnacle, you can continue going. But it takes a long time. Even when I won Miss South Africa, I was already doing it since I was 12.
Yeah.
You know, so that's
like one thing I actually don't understand with the generation XYZ, with this instant gratification thing. Like I'm so glad that you brought it up earlier, you know. Like, yes, certain things we've learned how to do faster and get results quicker. But there are certain things that just really takes time because it has steps, and in those steps you learn, and as you learn, you grow and transform. And a lot of them don't understand that. So they always wonder, like, well, I think I'm cool today, you know, like whatever, or you're funny, and then they expect to be seen or like getting the same, like in the same circles and getting the same results as other people who have worked so long and hard for everything. And like you said, it takes time. It takes time. I mean, we can look at you and be like, wow, you've probably had an amazing career, but to you, you'll be like, you know, for me, actually, where I felt like, wow, I actually, like you said, I hit my pinnacle like 5 years ago, you know, and it's like a completely different story for the actual person, you know, and like when they just look at it from the side, they're just like, oh, she's doing this and she's doing that, she's doing that. I also want to be there and I also want to be doing this and achieving, and not understanding that there is so much rejection. There is so much self-reflection. There is so much of having to tell yourself, just get up and go again, you know? And
constantly.
That's why I came up with the price of fame, so that we can share these stories, and then because people always see the glory and never hear the story. So that's why in the price of fame, it's like we want to share like what was the cost of everything that you achieved, you know? And with that being said, is there like, did you ever have like a moment in your career where you felt like, you know what, I just want to hang up the boots and just take a break, just take a gap year or whatever, or because I'm not in the right mind space right now, everything's a bit too challenging and I just need to assess? Besides COVID, did you ever have like a moment like that personally?
Yes, Lunga, all the time, still today. But the thing that you realize after doing this for enough years, or anything really, I mean, I've been in television presenting, modeling, business, is that the breakthrough comes at the same time that you feel the breakdown is going to happen.
Okay.
And when you realize that you can either break down or you can see that this breakdown is in fact a breakthrough. That this is not the time to hang up your boots, because that's exactly what happens. A lot of people just hang up their hats and go, can't do this anymore. And that's where the magic happens. That exactly is where the magic happens. And if you can push through that, well, then the next breakdown is a level up, which is also a breakthrough. And the next breakdown is a level up, which is also a breakthrough. And the sky is the limit. I mean, I see Lunga at 34 now. Lunga at 44. You're going to be on stage hosting one of the biggest shows in South Africa. You're going to be, this is 10 years from now. Yeah. You're going to be doing some big campaigns on South African television. You're going to maybe have your own radio show. Who knows? International podcast. Because every single year you will 100% feel, I mean, if you don't, then you're not normal. Because every year, so I think to myself, COVID or no COVID. I think to myself, oh my goodness, I just, can this get any worse? And every single time that happens, because I now know how to recognize that point. Every time that happens, I know to push through, and that is always a breakthrough. There's always growth. And on the other side of that is always where the magic happens. That is where the magic happens. So don't you stop right there. And I don't. So, I mean, I've had many, many challenges. I'm an old hat at challenges. I'm an old hat at challenges. Trust me when I tell you that.
Yeah.
And they come, it's a lonely place to be your own driving force.
Yeah.
I've my parents have been very supportive of me. I've had a lot of wonderful mentors and people in my life that have helped me. But at the end of the day, it's a lonely place because it's you and you alone who drives you and who gets you through all the difficult times. And if you can do that, you are stronger than you think. You are genuinely strong. We are all very, very much stronger than we think. And if you can adopt that and believe it, well, then you are ready for the stars in any which way. Whether you want to be, the best cook or whatever you want to be.
Yeah. Two things I really love about what you just said now is first and foremost, all that good stuff that you said about me in the future. Yes, I claim it. I claim it. And Jesus, I claim it.
Yes, claim it.
So it is.
Yes.
And I think that you said like the levels. Wow, that is so. It's like just a new perspective for me. Like you're saying, you're always gonna reach that level where you feel like, I want to hang up my boots. And like I believe what you say, when you feel like that, usually you're just as close to your breakthrough. So don't give up. Don't give up. And I know a lot of, like, for example, Idris Elba, he was just this close to being like, I'm gonna go home and I'm hanging up the boots. I've tapped out. I've done all my attempts. After this, I'm going home, and that's when he got his breakthrough. And then we never forgot about it. And he just soared from there. And I like the fact that you said that once you break through that, that's going to be like, oh, cool, I've done this. But then there's another level. And then you're going to feel like, so you just have to keep reminding yourself, because it's like, it's because now you're at the point where you're like, oh, hello, old friend. Hello, darkness. How are you? You're back again.
Yes.
Just have to meet
Hello,
you and then
darkness, my old friend. Exactly.
yeah, that song, yeah. So it's basically like what you just said, So I like that, and that's what I think. That's something that we can take from, a lot of people can take from this conversation, that whenever they feel that, well, they'll just remember like, oh, this is just darkness coming back again. He's a bit bigger and a bit stronger, but guess what? So am I.
But I'm also on a higher level, so it comes a little bit bigger and stronger on this high level.
Absolutely. And you also become. So, did you get that? Sorry, I just froze for a bit. I said, did you also become bigger and stronger at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. And exactly.
With your journey, did you have any mentors that kind of like held your hand and guided you along the way? Also, now with being in the industry for such a long time, did you have the opportunity to mentor anyone?
Well, I think mentorship is an incredibly important thing, and I think that it's very much lacking at the moment in society, and people are genuinely looking for mentors. And I certainly had a lot of mentors. My parents were obviously mentors to me. I mean, at different stages in my life, there were stages in my life where I didn't really relate to them at all. And there were also stages in my life where I was very angry with them and withdrew from them, for all the reasons we're angry with our parents when we're teenagers. And I think I was very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And if you look around for mentors, you'll find it in people that work around you in your studio. You'll find it in people that work for you. You'll find it in people that you come across on a daily basis. I think the key is to look for little things in other people all the time that you genuinely admire and that you would you wish that you could adopt in your own life. Watch them and learn. Mentorship is not something that we should wait for people to offer. Mentorship is something that we should steal all the time with our eyes. Oh, I like what he's doing. I'm going to take that. I'm going to make it mine. I like what she's doing. I love the way she handled that situation. I'm going to take it and make it mine. So mentorship is something that you steal all the time from people all around you. And I've had some incredible mentors, especially during my Miss South Africa year. Some businessmen, my then brand and PR manager for Miss South Africa, Sue Clerk, really took me under her wing. My husband has been an incredible mentor to me in business. My mother's been a mentor to me in my Christian values and, just the values of the kind of person that I've wanted to become. My father has been a mentor to me in the fact that nothing was ever good enough. You can be better, more, stronger, higher, faster. You can, you know, and I think young people today are mentors to me. You know, my daughter is 8 years old, and she's a mentor to me because she's so relentlessly kind all the time. You know, and kindness is something that I really think we're all struggling with these days, because when you're struggling with all your own stuff, it's difficult to always be kind. So I've had a lot of mentorship. I've been fortunate enough to mentor a lot of women through my 15 years of judging pageants and interviewing. And you know, I'm also one of the co-owners of a modeling academy where, you know, we're constantly mentoring our modeling academies through our directors. And I have a female empowerment organization where I don't know every one of the girls personally, but at the moment we're putting over 140 girls through our programs in townships and, you know, lesser privileged communities, with curriculums and education and mentorship, and teaching them all the things that ordinarily girls in privileged communities would learn. So I think mentorship is very important, and I think it's very important that all of us take it upon ourselves to mentor at least 2 or 3 people in our lifetime. But it also is something that we shouldn't sit around and wait for. Like, nobody's going to come around with a fairy wand going, ding, I'm your mentor and I'm going to take you through this life. It's something that you steal with your eyes and with your mind on a daily basis. And you take a little bit from everyone.
To be honest with you, that's how I basically sharpened my craft with comedy, emceeing, and all of that stuff. I used to just steal with the eye and be like, what? Because to be like, what do they have don't have yet, you know? What is it that makes me enjoy this person, you know? I need to have that, you know? I also want to make people feel the way that this person is making me feel. So I would steal with the eye a lot. And also another thing that you've mentioned also, which is pretty cool, and a lot of people should actually, like, especially up and coming artists, if you're watching, you don't have to always have your mentors being in your field or in your industry. Sometimes they can be in a different industry. Like the mentor that I currently have now, I'm a business mentor. He's got nothing to do with comedy or the entertainment industry, but he's mentoring me through business, because I made the Energizer funny. I made the brand and the company now. So he's teaching me the ropes of how to run a business and how to be a proper entrepreneur. So you don't always, and you see, and that's going to help with my comedy work, but it's got nothing to do with comedy. So your mentors not always in the same space or the same circle. You need to go out there, put yourself out there, because the minute I put myself in a different environment, that's where I met this mentor. And that's where we actually found each other, and he found me, and he's like, I've got some jewels that I want to give to you. And I was like, please, this is a field that I'm walking in for, and I'm the way of things. So like someone to hold my hand, you know, and just like guide me. That's amazing. So yeah, the fact that you brought that to light, that you also had other mentors who weren't necessarily models or in the competition. Other people.
So I think what you just said is very, very important. It's not so much about, do you have a mentor, as opposed to, are you a good mentee? Are you constantly finding ways to be mentored without people even realizing that they're mentoring you? Are you a good mentee, as opposed to, do you have a mentor? Because nobody's going to come and offer you to be your mentor. You know, you kind of have to latch on and say, I'm going to take these people and they're going to be my mentors, whether they know it or not, whether they like it or not. And what you were saying about putting you out of your comfort zone, if you keep doing what you did yesterday, you'll keep getting the same results as what you did yesterday. So if you want to go to new places, meet new people, put yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely true.
It worked for
Cindy,
me too.
Like, we've coming to the end of the show now, and I've been having such a lovely conversation with you. I hope you enjoyed yourself so far. I have one more question though. Are you still good?
I'm still good.
Awesome,
Should I be nervous?
So, sorry?
Should I be nervous?
No, not at all. This is probably the easiest question of the whole interview. So this is the part where I ask all my guests, look, so I'm going to put you in my time machine right now, and we're going to turn it back all the way to the very, very young Cindy Nell, who's stepping into all of this for the very first time, not having an idea what your life is going to unfold, what's going to unfold to be like. And the version that you are today, having walked your journey, all the lessons and everything, knowing what you know, what bit of advice, you only have one moment to give the younger version you some advice, what bit of advice would that be?
Well, if I didn't waste so much time doubting myself all the time and listening to all the people who doubted me and criticized me, I would have been twice as successful as I am today. You waste a lot of time when you are young listening to the critics that are there to say you can't do it, you're not going to make it, you don't have what it takes. By all means, listen to positive criticism where people are giving you criticism to tweak you. They are on your team. They are on Team Cindy or on Team Lunga. But if they are not on your team, they are not there to propel you forward. Don't waste your time doubting yourself, because it's a waste of time. I could have achieved twice as much as I have today if I didn't waste time on that. And also, the one thing I have to say that I really did do when I was younger, but I would give this advice to myself to remind myself again, is that everything that challenges you in your life, from your circumstances to drugs to gangsterism, peer pressure, if you wanna become the best version of yourself one day, you need to be above all of that. You need to be above it. You are too good for that kind of stuff. And if you are above it, and because success and happiness is not something that comes one day and taps you on the head and just happens to you. It's a decision that you make of who you are and who you are going to become. And when you live to be that person, then everything else will just magically happen to you. So the advice I would give to myself is, don't spend too much time listening to those who say you can't make it and you can't do it. It's a waste of time. And remember to be above it all. Because if you're above it all, you are the person that you want to become one day. Then you'll eventually just bump into all your dreams.
That's so true. I mean, like,
very serious, but
No, but that's the jewel right there, because doubt is the biggest dream killer. Ooh, like for me, like you said, I've doubted myself. It's also in my in the younger ages, and especially when you're learning and you're taking in so much information and you're not sure about your own strength and you like allow a lot of doubt versus the praising in, You'd be like, so many people be like, oh, you're so amazing. But there are two people is like, but this one said it wasn't quite, or this one said I'm not good enough. And then you let that sink in. And for a very long time, before people can even doubt you, you doubt yourself now, because you're going to be like, I don't want to do this because what is this one going to say? What's that one going to say? Or how are they going to look at me? And then you just crush your own dreams before anyone can even see it or even judge you on it. So yeah, doubt is the biggest dream killer. And yeah, it is something that I would also if I were to go back to the younger version of me and I would tell him, like, don't listen to doubt. Follow your dreams, follow that voice, follow your intuition, because the minute you do, that's when amazing things truly happen. And that's when people truly see you and appreciate you for who you truly are. So yeah, that was a lesson I also needed to learn. It's a very good and a very serious one as well. So yeah.
And then just quickly to finish off with that, remember, you can talk big talk and you can dream big dreams. When we finish with this podcast, when you finish with this podcast, when I'm finished with this podcast, when all our listeners are finished with this podcast, you can't just go, okay, well, we feel amazing and lovely about this. We're not going to go home and scroll back on our feed and check what everyone else is doing. It's time to take action. Are you writing that business plan? Are you making that rate card? Are you consolidating the photos for your media press pack? Are you Googling the YouTube video on how to start that business for your food? Or are you just going, well, we're going to talk about all this lovely stuff and then we're going to go home and scroll through our Facebook feed? No, it's yes, talk the talk, but then walk the walk. Do the implementation. When you go to bed, when you wake up in the morning, spend the time building towards your dreams.
Absolutely. It's not just the dream, it's the dream and the action, and then you manifest what you are trying to, the life that you want.
Love
action,
that.
Action and manifestation. Cindy,
thank you so much for having me.
You've been a blessing. Thank you so much for being a guest on The Price of Fame. Is there anything else that you maybe want to say before I let you go?
I just want to say that one day you mustn't forget about me when you're like super famous. I'm going to bring my kids for photos.
Of course. Never. We're going to be in the same VIP. I'm actually coming to your VIP circle. So
I'm coming to your VIP spot.
Yeah, when I come there, don't forget about me. Don't be like, yeah, who are you? I'm going to be like, it's me, the intro guy. All right. So Can you please, for those followers who aren't following it just yet, can you please drop all your social handles and anything that is coming up that's exciting that you are working on? Can you please
Yes.
about that and just drop all your social handles so that we can jump onto your journey and be part of it?
Yes. How do I do that? Do I put it here into the chat box?
Oh, you can just say like you can on what's name on Facebook. What's your Facebook page?
Oh
What's your
yes. Okay. So
Instagram?
on Instagram, I'm Cindy_Nell with double L. So Cindy_Nell, all small letters. Facebook, I think I'm Cindy Nell. Facebook, I should be. I think I had a private one called Cindy Nell Roberts at one stage. And yeah, that's really the only channels that I'm on. Oh, I've got a website, cindynell.co.za. I'm most active on my Instagram, not so much on Twitter anymore. And my goal with my social media pages is really just to post things that are either funny or inspirational, or share a little bit of my love for beauty and makeup. So tomorrow, for example, I'm doing a live with how to do all my favorite makeup tips and tricks. So for girls
Awesome.
that like makeup and beauty, can definitely join me on my page.
Ladies and gentlemen, she is a beauty guru, and she's a co-owner of a cosmetic company, so she knows exactly what she's talking about, and she's going to lead you on the right path. And tomorrow is a moment where you can get that mentorship information in. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from her. Please check her out. She's going to be live on Instagram tomorrow. Cindy, Nell, you've been amazing. Thank you so much for this interview. Thank you for being a guest on the show. May you have a lovely evening further with your family.
You too.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Lunga.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it from me and Cindy Nell. That is it from us and today's Price of Fame. My name is Lunga Tshuka. And if you want to follow me, for those of you who are unaware of who I am, or when you're watching this stuff, the family members that's sitting in the background that's watching. Like, no, Derek put on Lunga there, Price of Fame, but I'm not going to follow him. I see you, uncle, and I see you, auntie. Stop it. Stop your nonsense. Follow, like, click, subscribe. So if you want to follow me on my Instagram, on my Facebook page, you can catch me at Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. That is Lunga Tshuka, the Energizer Funny. On Instagram, you can catch me at Lunga Tshuka. And for exclusive interviews and snippets of the Price of Fame, I have a separate page on Instagram called the Price of Fame ZA. That is the Price of Fame ZA. And in the link, in the bio, you can catch the link that sends you straight to my YouTube page, which is Lunga Tshuka, with all the Price of Fame episodes. I think this is episode number 22 or 23. But yeah, I have all of the other episodes there, so you can go check it out. And please, when you're there, subscribe. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lunga Tshuka. I've been your host, and this is The Price of Fame.